Hi friends, welcome to today's video, which is going to be fairly quick, but we're just going to be going over basically my goals for the remainder of the year, and part of that will be going over my physical TBR. So I have decided that I felt like my reading has been a little bit too unstructured and like really for no reason at all. I feel like I need to set myself some goals and just a few things to kind of work towards, because I'm feeling a little like I'm just meandering in my reading. Totally fine. I do better with structure. I do better with like set goals that I want to achieve. So we're just going to very quickly today be talking about what I'm going to be trying to achieve for the second half of the year. And there's really like only two big goals, and there's a few series. There's 4 series that I set myself that I really want to get through, and I want to try to finish all of them. And then also I want to finish my entire physical TBR. So first, let's talk about these series. I identified 4 that they're sci-fi and fantasy series that are very large, but they're ones I decided like, let's just take the time, let's really try to finish these off. So the first one is The Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. This is a sci-fi epic about like the world has expanded out, like humanity has expanded out throughout the galaxy, and there's all of these different like groups of people who live on like either the planets, space stations, moons, and they all kind of have different goals in life. They all have different goals of where they see their people going, and the series is basically just a potential war coming between all of them. So I've read the first 3 books, and there's nine books in this series, so I just want to finish that off. I think I've given all of the first 3 5 stars, so like let's keep that going. I'm clearly really loving this series, and I've just been doing bad at waiting too many months in between reading each installation, and then I tend to forget what happened before. So let's finish it off. Next, so part of this is because I do own several of these books, like just randomly as I find them secondhand, I pick them up. But I want to finish all of Robin Hobb's works. So her entire Farseer world, or is it Realm of the Elderlings? There's 16 books in it, I think. I've so far only read the first one. I'm currently about halfway through book 2 of the first trilogy, and I really enjoy it. Like I gave book 1 5 stars. Really like am excited to keep going on it. So it's one that I just want to try and challenge myself to finish. Primarily the reason that I'm gonna try and finish this whole world is because I do own several of the books. So reading through this will also help me with reading down my physical TBR. And we'll see how that one goes. I'm primarily going to be listening to them on audio. They're rather long audiobooks, so I think I could do potentially 1 or 2 a month. I'm gonna definitely have to ramp it up from there, because there's no way that I would get done, but that's gonna be the goal. Next, I have the Witcher series. So I think there's 8 books total in this. 2 of them are short story collections. I've read both those, but I've never read any of the books that are in the primary series where we're like chronologically following something, where we're following the main story of this. And basically this series is just we're following a monster hunter named Geralt who is a witcher. The witchers are monster hunters, and we're following him as he comes in contact with this like child that he's fated to be connected with to protect, and she is a princess, and there's a lot of political maneuverings in this world of different kingdoms vying for power and different like factions all fighting. Really excited to get to this actual world. Again, I own 3 of the books on my TBR, so perfect excuse to try and finish it off. And then kind of as a wild card, maybe, the Dune Saga. So I think I'm gonna have to do more research into this, but I believe there's 6 primary works by Frank Herbert, and I've read the first one, I own the second. So I gave the first one 5 stars, obviously really loved it. So it feels like a perfect kind of opportunity to like, let's keep this momentum going, let's keep really enjoying this. And this is one that I do need to do more research into about how many books there actually are, because I know there's a very extended backstory and extended universe essentially from Brian Herbert, who is Frank Herbert's son. And I would like to read some of those. I do own one of them. That one I'm not going to worry as much about reading off. There's going to be like a handful of books that I'm not concerned about if I actually count them towards my physical TBR yet. But like that's one I'd really like to get fully entrenched in this world and really know like an intense amount of details about the Dune Saga and the world and universe as a whole, because everything I've learned I've been incredibly into, and I'm just really excited to keep going and learning. So those are the 4 series that we are focusing on, and we'll see how it goes. I really want to aim to finish these, because I am trying really hard to focus more on sci-fi and fantasy as well. It's not like a concrete goal, but I am trying to make the priority reading, like the priority reads primarily what I'm reading, to be all sci-fi and fantasy. And the good thing is a lot of the books on my shelves too are within this genre. So yeah, that's goal number 1, is just these series. And now let's take a look at the physical TBR. So I'm not going to give synopsises of all of these books. I will, there's a few that I probably have a few things to say about, a few like comments and stuff, but I'm not going to really dive into the synopsis unless it's one that I really feel like I need to talk about. Yeah, because otherwise we'll just be here forever, and I want to make this like a fairly quick video. So let's go over to the bookshelf and start looking at all this. Okay, so we're gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna try to pull down books one at a time. So first off, we have Engines of Empire by R.S. Ford. Something to do with like fantasy, machines, guns, like a little more like steampunky maybe. Crown of Feathers, The Black-Tongued Thief by Christopher Bullman. Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. Really highly anticipating this one. I have a feeling this could be a 5 stars. The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. This is the sequel to The Handmaid's Tale. Curious Tides by Pascal Lascelles. I think this is like a magical school. Also, as I'm going through this, I feel like there is an unhaul soon in our future, because I feel like I can definitely see books that I don't really care if I own anymore. The Water Outlaws. Okay, down to the next level. A Taste of Gold and Iron, The Witch The Only Suspect, I Winter in New York, and A Holly Jolly Diwali. Okay, so now we're gonna go down to the next level. Sit down here. It's actually like so hard to get books off these shelves because they're so tightly packed in there. It's kind of a problem. Love and Trust by Claire Gilmore. Okay, and back up. I actually did very good on this portion of having read the books, which I think is partially because I rearranged them and the primary of my physical TBR is up here. But let's go here. We have Jade War by Fonda Lee. I do want to read this one very soon because I read Jade City, the first book in this series, last month, 2 months ago, and I want to read it before I forget the characters and what everybody's role is and all of that. Seven Eyes by Neil Stevenson, some kind of sci-fi. Catastrophic event renders the earth a ticking time bomb. Read one by him and liked it quite a bit. Okay, and now up we go. Okay, oh my god. The Adult by Bronwyn Fisher. So I'll just pull out the first one, but I have the entire Scythe trilogy by Neil Shusterman. I did read the first one, but I'm considering it part of my physical TBR because it's probably been like 15 years whenever it first came out, and I definitely need to reread this one before I do the rest of it. So we have Scythe, Thunderhead, and The Toll. Then there's the Book of Eve, Darker by Four, which this one has really pretty edges. For Her Consideration by Amy Spalding. The Witch and the Tsar. This was like, I very, very briefly was subscribed to the Goldsboro Science Fiction and Fantasy Fellowship subscription. I got like 3 months intending to do a video like almost 2 years ago and have never read any of them because I do have the next book too, which is Shield Maiden. So I've had these for like over a year and just never touched them. Flamefall, which is the sequel to Fireborn, which I enjoyed quite a bit. It was like a political dragon fantasy. I do want to get to that fairly soon. And False Witness by Karen Slaughter. I need to check, is this the one that's like book 8 in a series? Maybe, because there's one that I used to own that was like book 8 in her Will Trent series. I'm not sure if it's this one. If so, I'm just gonna unhaul it, but I didn't even know I owned this. Okay, now we're going to the next section of the library. So we're just going in the divided places. Okay, oh my god. I'm also like not tall enough to reach these top shelves, so that's a problem. Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison. This is book 3 in a small town romance series that I like. Monsters Born and Made. Just grabbed 2, Dragonhaven and Dune Messiah. So part of the Robin Hobb world and the Dune world that I'm working on. And one that I'm not worrying too much about, I have The Prince of Blood by Raymond Feist. So this is one that I'm not going to consider part of the goal for the year because I think there's I was looking into it and I think there's like 20-ish books that I need to read before this one, or like 10 or something. So this is going to be maybe for next year's series goals. Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. Is this the one I'm reading right now? No. Wait, here's why it's great that I do this. I literally have a copy of this checked out from the library right now because I didn't know I owned it. So great job, me. P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern, Hyperion by Dan Simmons, and Blood Song by Anthony Ryan. So that shelf's done. Then next we have We Free the Stars by Hafsa Fazal. Didn't like the first book in this one, if we're being honest. So that one I'm a little concerned about. Blood of Elves, and then I also have The Time of Contempt and Baptism of Fire. So those are books 1, 2, and 3 of The Witcher. Burning Water by Mercedes Lackey. I might just unhaul this one. Red Mars, one sec. Red Mars by Kim Stanley Robinson. And I don't want to pull it out, but I also have Golden Fool by Robin Hobb. It's just like deep down in a pile. Ooh, Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Rosenhorse. And The Invisible Hour by Alice Hoffman. And then, oh, right. The Three Body Problem. And I have book 3 in the series as well, but not book 2. So book 3 is Death's End. So yeah, I have 1 and 3. Then we also have Royal Assassin, which I'm currently listening to on audio. So yay, go me. I'm being productive. Down again. I'm not counting them, but I do have all of the Percy Jackson books in French. I've read Percy Jackson already, but I have the French editions that my nephews gave me, and that was kind of my like, let's work on improving my French, because I do work in French and I need it. But yeah, those aren't counted towards my physical TBR. Those are just kind of my random books. Hounding the Moon and In the Night Room. Spoiler alert for a video eventually. Those 2 random little weird ones. You Know You Want This. This is short stories. Cool, there's a spider on here too. Then we have The Institute by Stephen King. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. The Kingdom of Sweets. There's this one in another, like one of the winter in New York. I was originally planning on doing like a winter reading vlog around Christmas last year. Didn't happen, so maybe this year. And that's all for down here. So we are going back up once again. And this is going to be the primary portion of the physical TBR, because I know I've put a lot of them up here just to kind of keep them together. So there is A Vow of the Shadow King and Heart of the Shadow King. This is a fantasy romance series. Master of Crows by Grace Draven, and Entreat Me by Grace Draven as well. The Honey Witch. Dreadful, a love song for Ricky Wilde. Ruthless Vows. This is the sequel to Divine Rivals. I love this edition. It's so gorgeous. The Wishing Game. Maggie Moves On by Lucy Score. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. And then I also have A Close and Comet Orbit. So these are books 1 and 2. I wanted to buy those ones because they're like literally impossible to find at any library or anything, which is weird. Foundry Side, Robert Jackson Bennett. Okay, so Foundry Side, Robert Jackson Bennett. Recently read one of his books, so it made me really excited to get to this one. The Valkyrie by Kate Hartfield. The Annual Migration of Clouds. This makes me want to do like a reading the shortest and longest books on my TBR kind of video. The Temptation of Magic by Megan Scott. Can't really see this cover, but there you go. Then Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. And then I also have books 2, 3, and 4. So those are Restless Slumber, Deadly Dreams, and Beautiful Nightmares. Just don't want to take them out. Getting close to this done. Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. And then one of the Dune books, which is The Winds of Dune by Brian Herbert. I'm actually very upset about buying this one. I thought I was buying it for $5. It was $15. I was very upset about that. But yeah, we're done this row. And on to the next, which is our final sections. So, Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes, like a haunted ghost spaceship. Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham. And One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware. So I like Ruth Ware. It's one of her newest ones. The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I think this is like a fake marriage. Oath of Fealty by Elizabeth Moon. Then Dragon Haven by Robin Hobb. I do already own another copy of this, so this is my second copy that I own. and Dragon Keeper by Robin Hobb as well. Nectar of the Wicked by Ella Fields. So actually it's from the Fairy Loot Romantasy subscription, which is the one subscription, actually the second one. The other one I'm keeping is Arcane Society, but one of the only subscriptions that I'm currently keeping. And this one is from Arcane Society, so Ashes of Chaos. Read book one last month. Quite enjoyed it. A Sweet Sting of Salt. Happy Medium. A Broken Blade, and Age of Myth. Okay, then Funny Story by Emily Henry. Really highly anticipated, so I'm kind of surprised that I haven't read this yet. The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. Not in Love by Ellie Hazelwood. Another one I'm surprised I haven't read yet because it's so highly anticipated for me. The Atlas Complex by Olivia Blake. Book 3 in the Atlas 6. This is like less than a 3-star rating on Goodreads right now, so I'm really worried. Like book 2 was definitely a disappointment. Book 1, I gave 5 stars. This one, yeah, I think it has like a 2.8 average rating on Goodreads, so I am worried. Sugar Baby, the rule book. Okay, watch me completely butcher this name. Shigidi and the Brass Head Obalofon. I did. I'm sure I butchered that. Just for the Summer. And our final book here, One Star Romance. Though I am forgetting, that's not it. I have other books in my living room. I thought that was the last one, but no, I am remembering right now that I have like 2 books over here that I am currently reading. So first off, The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton. And then we also have A Fate in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. So those are all of the books that I have on my physical TBR. There's like 100 and something of them, and we're going to be trying to finish these all in the next year. So what I want to know, are there any of these that you would recommend that I like really prioritize? Or are there any ideas that you might have of like, this is a fun idea for a video, this is how you can kind of like structure reading these? Because I do know I'm going to be doing, like some of them are from subscription boxes, so I'm going to prioritize, like do videos just reading like that. I want to do one where I'm reading like the books that have been on my TBR the longest. And I know I want to do like the shortest and longest books on my TBR. So just stuff like that. Like if you have any ideas for ways that I could kind of like structure videos just to kind of like make sure I'm really reading these, or I could even do like recommendations. So the ones that you guys think should be the top of my TBR, that's how I could do it. Let me know if you have any ideas for that, because I think that if I have set videos in place, it will be much easier for me to really prioritize these and make sure I'm getting them done. So thanks for watching today's video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video, leave me a comment about any of that, and hopefully I will see you in the next video very soon. Bye.